The Galactic High Court of Aurelios had witnessed 1,000 wars end and 1,000 civilizations kneel, but never had it felt tension like this. The chamber was a colossal dome of living crystal, its walls shifting colors with the emotions of those inside. Representatives from over 200 species filled the rising tiers, avian nobles with folded wings, towering silicon-based delegates glowing faintly, aquatic envoys floating in anti-grav spheres. At the highest dais sat the ruling triarchs, and beside them, on a throne grown from star metal and living light, sat Empress Shatters of the virile dominion. Beside her stood her daughter, Princess Lyriel. She was the future of the dominion, graceful, luminous, her bioluminescent eyes shimmering like nebulae. Poets across the galaxy wrote of her beauty. Admirals boasted of dying in her name. Entire species sought alliances simply for a glimpse of her smile. And yet, in the center of the court stood a single human. He was unarmed, restrained only by a faint energy band around his wrists. His uniform was worn, scarred by time and war, bearing the faded insignia of the United Terran Coalition. His name was Commander Nathan Hale, and he would not look at her. No matter how the princess shifted, no matter how the courtiers whispered, his eyes remained fixed on the floor of the chamber. The silence stretched until it became unbearable. Empress Shatters leaned forward, her voice echoing with restrained authority. "Human," she said, "you stand accused of treason against the Dominion, espionage, and the incitement of rebellion across 3 sectors. Yet even now you show disrespect." Nathan did not respond. Her voice sharpened. "Why do you refuse to look at my daughter?" A murmur swept the court. Some laughed softly, assuming arrogance. Others bristled at the perceived insult. To ignore the princess was unthinkable. Lyriel herself frowned, confusion flickering across her radiant features. "Father, mother," she corrected herself gently. "Perhaps he is afraid." Nathan's jaw tightened. Shatters rose from her throne. "Look at her," the Empress commanded. "Now." Slowly, Nathan lifted his head, but his eyes did not meet Lyriel's face. They stopped just short, his gaze hovering at her feet, his expression strained, almost pained. A wave of irritation rolled through the chamber. One of the triarchs hissed, "Insolent creature." Lyriel took a tentative step forward. "Human, why?" Nathan closed his eyes. "Because if I look at you," he thought, "I'll see what you'll become." He took a breath and finally spoke. "Because," he said quietly, "I've seen this story before." The court erupted in confused chatter. Shatters' eyes narrowed. "Explain yourself." Nathan raised his head fully now, though still not meeting Lyriel's gaze. "Humans were once like you," he said. "We believed ourselves enlightened, superior, destined to rule because we could." Scoffs echoed from the benches. "We conquered in the name of order. We expanded for peace." Anyone who resisted was labeled primitive, dangerous, necessary to erase. Lyriel stiffened. Shatters' voice was cold. "You dare compare the Dominion to your fractured species?" Nathan nodded. "Yes." A ripple of anger surged through the chamber, but Nathan continued before they could silence him. "I was born on Earth," he said, "but Earth doesn't exist anymore." The court quieted. "Not because of an alien invasion," Nathan said, "but because of us. Because we believed our own righteousness so completely that we burned our world for progress." He swallowed. "I've walked through cities where the air still screams," he said. "I've watched children die under banners that promise safety." His hands trembled. "And when I look at your daughter," he continued, "I don't see a princess. I see the beginning of something that ends with silence." Lyriel recoiled as if struck. "What do you mean?" she demanded. Nathan finally looked up, just for a moment. His eyes met hers. The court fell utterly silent. In that instant, Lyriel saw something no one had ever dared show her.
Fear.
Not fear of her power. Fear for her. "You're kind," Nathan said softly. "You believe in mercy. You think the Dominion protects the galaxy." Lyriel nodded instinctively. "I believe that too," he said. "Before we built weapons that could sterilize stars. Before mercy became a weakness." Shakarith's voice thundered. "Enough." Energy crackled along the throne. "You accuse us of future crimes," the Empress said, "based on your species' failure." Nathan did not flinch. "No," he said. "I accuse power of repeating itself." A triarch sneered. "Humans are irrelevant. Your coalition barely survives on the fringe." Nathan laughed bitterly. "That's the point." The court leaned in. "We're irrelevant because we learned," he said. "Because we broke ourselves trying not to become you." Gasps rippled. Lyriel's voice shook. "My mother would never." "She already has," Nathan said gently. The Empress froze. Nathan turned to the court, his voice growing stronger. "Your Dominion absorbs cultures, erases languages, rewrites histories. You call it unity." He met Shakarith's gaze directly now. "We called it destiny." The crystal walls dimmed as the emotional resonance shifted. Shakarith's expression faltered, just slightly. "You don't look at her," the Empress said quietly, "because you judge her." "No," Nathan replied, "because I hope she proves me wrong." Silence fell like a blade. Lyriel stepped forward, her glow flickering. "Is that truly why?" she asked. "Not hatred." Nathan shook his head. "Because if I look too long," he said, "I'll see either the galaxy's greatest hope or its executioner." The court was motionless. The triarchs exchanged uneasy glances. Lyriel turned slowly toward her mother. "Is it true?" she asked. "Have we destroyed worlds?" Shakarith did not answer immediately. At last she spoke, her voice quieter than anyone had ever heard it. "We brought order," she said. Nathan nodded. "So did we." A long, terrible pause followed. Then Lyriel did something no one expected. She knelt. The sound echoed through the court like thunder. "I will not become that," she said. "Not blindly. Not without knowing." Shock paralyzed the chamber. Shakarith stared at her daughter, centuries of certainty cracking. "You shame the throne," the Empress whispered. "No," Lyriel said, rising. "I save it." She turned to Nathan. "Look at me now, human," she said, "and tell me what you see." Nathan met her eyes fully. For the first time, his voice carried hope. "I see a chance." The Empress exhaled slowly. Then, to the astonishment of the galaxy, she raised her hand. "Release the human," Shakarith commanded. Energy restraints dissolved. "The court is adjourned," she said. Effective immediately. Uproar erupted, but it was ignored. That day marked the beginning of the Dominion inquiry. Archives were opened. Worlds were reclassified. Occupations were reviewed. Nathan Hale became an advisor, not a prisoner. Lyriel became something unprecedented, a ruler who listened. And across the galaxy, whispers spread of a human who refused to look at a princess, not out of fear or defiance, but because he knew what unchecked power eventually becomes. And for the first time in a long while, the future did not end in silence.